Hey everybody, and welcome back to this week's Ritual Emotions Weekly Download. I'm your host, Dana Paul, and as always, I have Jamie with me. Jamie, how's it going this week?
It's going well, Dana. How are you?
Now, it's going great. Now, Jamie, really excited. Last week, you went to visit Larry and Amy at the farm. They're the producers of Snack. What do you think?
It was absolutely incredible. It just seemed to be a lot of giant test tubes, and to see it come out as that final product, it's truly the magic of spirulina.
Yeah, and I think what Amy and Larry have going on there is almost like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory type of thing. So we'll leave the magic for them. So Jamie, really excited. As you know, a couple weeks ago we caught up with Jay Randall. He is a world champion speed runner. Really excited. He also did a couple of demos for us on speed running, so that's going to be really exciting. And I know you have some excellent stuff happening in the world of Call of Duty and of course Ninja and what's going on with him. So why don't we get to the tape of Jay Randall and we'll go from there. Jay, how's it going today?
Hey, what's going on, Dana? How are you?
It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. So Jay, fortunately we know each other and have a little bit about your history. I'd love for you to have the community, tell the community a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a speedrunner. My online alias is TGH, twitch.tv/TGH_SR. I'm 27 years old. I'm from Rhode Island, quite local actually to Ritual Motion headquarters. I'm a professional full-time Twitch streamer and a speedrunner of various games. Recently, I have run Celeste, of course, Link's Awakening Switch remake, Zelda Link's Awakening Switch. I do Link to the Past randomizers every now and again, as well as in a racing setting. And I play other various games on Twitch and have a lot of fun with my community.
So Jay, obviously you're a variety streamer. There's always that one game, I love asking this question to folks that come on. What was that one game that got you hooked? Do you remember that one video game that you started playing and that you were like, I'm just really, really loving this?
So it was the first game I ever actually streamed on Twitch, and this might sound funny because of my background, but Undertale. So Undertale speedruns, believe it or not, you can speedrun games like Undertale, like RPGs, like anything, like those are all speedrunnable. Maybe something some people don't realize, but yeah, Undertale was the speedrun that got me hooked on speedrunning, and I guess gaming in general. But yeah, so there was just something that I really, really loved about improving myself and like seeing my own results get better and better and better as I progressed and as I improved myself. And it went from Undertale to other games and it's been a really, really, really good vice for sure.
So for the community who doesn't know about speedrunning, can you just kind of give a quick explanation of what speedrunning is and how that differs from regular gameplay?
Sure. So speedrunning, what it is completing a game, any game, as long as it has a beginning and an end, as fast as possible, either with or without restrictions. So you have so without restrictions is what you'd call any percent, which means you can complete the game with say a game has a completion percentage. You can complete a game in any percent you want. The opposite of that would be 100%, where you can complete a game, while getting every obtainable item or achievement in the game. And this is all regulated by communities themselves that surround themselves around the speed games. There are other categories as well, but yeah, any percent is completely without restrictions. It involves like certain strategies in order to go faster that you might not expect someone to do in a casual playthrough, and that you definitely wouldn't expect to do in a casual playthrough in a lot of different scenarios. Glitches are also very common unless you're doing a glitchless restricted category, which bans the glitches. Certain routing as well, like what we call routing. So you can do things in an unexpected order from what you'd expect in a casual playthrough. So like for instance, so I play a game called Link's Awakening, the Switch remake for Zelda Link's Awakening. Very, very fun speed game, but you can do dungeon, like the last dungeon we complete is the second dungeon, just to give you an example. So like it's faster to do so. in at least one of the categories. It is faster to do so. But just to give you an idea, it's something really interesting that like people who might not be familiar with speedrunning might want to check out if they have the chance.
So Jay, what would you say is probably right now the most kind of difficult game just to speed run? Kind of the Mount Everest of games out there that everyone's trying to conquer.
Well, that's a hard question to answer. I would say the most popular speed game period, I'm pretty sure, is Super Mario 64. Which actually there was a new record set by Simply recently in the 120 star category, an hour 39 minutes and I believe 28 seconds.
Wow.
Is the record. But yeah, so and the previous world record holder Cheese is a very prominent figure in the speedrunning community as well. But I would say that's probably like one of the like holy grails of speedrunning is that category in SM64. But also games like Super Metroid, Link to the Past, Zelda Link to the Past, several others. If you go on speedrun.com and you look at the amount of runners for each game, because there's a page you can go to which lists the games that you can speedrun that have the most amount of runners, like period. I would say that any game that has like a really, really high amount of runners is a very contested, it's a contested speed game for sure. So, but yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to answer the question, like, what's the hardest speed game? Because like, there are different like aspects of speed games that different people struggle with. Like, so for instance, I really struggle with like RPG games, like JRPGs. I struggle like just wrapping my head around that. I'm much more in tune with like platformers and top-down 2D adventure games, like action adventure RPGs. So like I wouldn't vibe very well with JRPGs. So yeah, it's a hard question to answer for that reason.
Well, thanks for that. So here's another thing. I know recently you were in France, and you won a world championship. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So if you look back here, actually, I have the trophy on the table right there, the Barrier Speedrun Show. I was fortunate enough to be invited to participate in a tournament where the top two qualifiers of a tournament, we had a certain amount of time to get a speedrun to qualify, and I was number 2 in the qualifier. So I was able to go to Lille, France, which is like at the very north tip of France, like almost in I believe Germany is the country to the east of France. Yeah, sorry, my European geography is a little bit bad, but yeah. So there was the event proper was there, and that was honestly one of the most memorable experiences of my whole life. So they flew us out, all expenses paid, to France to participate, and it was myself and Marlon. Marlon was the other qualifier. He's the current world record holder of Celeste any percent. So yeah, we competed on a stage in front of like a few thousand people. I don't know the exact number of people in that auditorium, but it was absolutely wild, and I've never experienced anything like that before. And they were loud pretty much the entire time, but luckily I had noise canceling headphones to kind of like shove that out. But yeah, it was I would definitely, like, if there is a highlight of it on YouTube, which I'm pretty sure there is, I would check that out as well. It was like it felt like a proper esports event, like a huge esports event where with just a huge crowd and lights and like pyrotechnics, and like it was and announcers as well. It was all in French, so I couldn't really understand it, but yeah, it was definitely a huge highlight of my life and my speedrunning career for sure.
Jay, that's awesome, and congratulations again. We get asked a lot from our community who's inspiring to take their passion of gaming and to take it to the level where you are as a professional streamer. Like, what advice can you give folks that are out there that are, trying to make it to that next level, the level that you are at? What advice would you give them?
As far as streaming goes, I would say just be yourself. Like, there's no reason to be anybody but who you are in front of a camera or not in front of a camera when you're streaming. Just handle your stream how you feel you should. Be yourself, have fun. When you have fun, you make way better content. And just be aware that there's something out there for everyone. So if you want to fulfill a niche, like you should own that niche. I feel like I kind of did that with speedrunning, just in general. And now I'm actually trying to branch out into more things, but yeah, so and just do what you feel comfortable with. Own your niche, grow your community, but try not to focus on numbers too much at first. And also just be a part of other communities as well. If your aim is to grow, put yourself in a position to grow. So put yourself in other communities, and just kind of get to know people and network yourself. And that's pretty much all I got. Most important thing is to have fun, because when you have fun, that's when your content is a lot better.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It is so important to have fun no matter what you do. A lot of things, what we're hearing too from other folks, is consistency. So if you set a schedule up for streams, to just kind of to stick with that and be very consistent with that. What are your thoughts on consistency?
Yeah, stream schedules, it's funny because I hear a lot of people say that stream schedules are important, and I do believe that, but I've also seen people not really have solid stream schedules and pull it off. I actually hosted a streamer, the Blacktastic, just yesterday after my stream, who they apparently every 2 weeks they switch from a morning shift to a night shift, and vice versa every 2 weeks. I don't understand how somebody does something like that, but and it's if you're not able to do that, then by all means don't. Your own health and mental health come first. But I wouldn't be able to pull that off. But yeah, I personally stream at a consistent schedule that I haven't changed in months now. I did undergo a schedule change pretty recently, a couple months ago, but it's been pretty consistent since. So
now, on average, how many hours a day and days a week would you say you're streaming?
Well, I actually just cut back from 6 days to 5 days per week, but those 5 days I stream anywhere from 6.5 to 9 hours per day, just depending on how I'm feeling. I don't want to push myself too hard right now, since there was a point where I was quote unquote on the grind each day, but I don't really think that's the healthiest thing, and I've kind of realized that since, and I've dialed it back. The most important thing is mental health. It's that goes along with having fun, and again, when you have fun, you make better content. So it's just whatever you're comfortable doing, but if you can maintain a consistent sleep and stream schedule, then by all means do so.
So Jamie, that was pretty awesome with Jay, to see him in his speed running. So what do you have going on?
So I got a few things in this week's weekly update for esports. The Call of Duty League actually saw its best viewership during the Chicago Huntsmen and the Atlanta FaZe match this past weekend with 115,000 people. So Call of Duty in the world of gaming in that sense is on the rise. People are really buying into these teams.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And also, Ninja held his first YouTube stream. It should be interesting to see where he lands, considering he is still talking to other streaming platforms to get the right deal for him.
So what do you think? Do you think he's going to end up with YouTube and YouTube gaming? Do you think he's going to go back to Twitch? What's your kind of gut instinct? I know you have your kind of ears to the ground and on all things, varsity and esports. So what do you think is going to happen?
So I honestly, personally think he may stay with YouTube. I know him leaving Twitch, there was a little bit of bad blood between him and Twitch. And Mixer, he seemed to like Mixer, and they're kind of moving to YouTube. So I think he sticks around with YouTube.
That's good.
And last but not least for this week, the Big 12 Conference is actually having their own Madden 20 tournament. So a member of each of the colleges in the Big 12 will compete against each other to see who is the best Big 12 Madden player.
And when does that take place?
That is going to be the beginning of August. So in the next few weeks, they're going to be starting up with that.
It's really exciting to see like all these varsity teams, both high school and college, they're gearing back up again. And we talk about this a lot, Jamie, that come fall, the only teams that are really going to be doing anything in the schools are going to be the esports teams, right? There's not going to be really football going on. There's not going to be a lot of these other fall scholastic sports, but esports is really almost made for a pandemic environment.
I couldn't agree more. I think this is the time for esports as a whole to kind of come to the rise and in the forefront and continue its future and make a staple for itself.
Awesome. Well, Jamie, thank you so much as always. And as always, this is the end of our show for this week. Next week, we have some really exciting things going on. Please stay tuned for that. As always, if you have any comments or suggestions, rmtv@richiomotion.com. I'm your host, Dana Paul. Be well. Peace.